Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dig into the healing or differential. Oh, we get two. I have two words to choose from. You guys can actually tell me. You tell me what you thought. Is it healing or differential convo I had with Johanna White in our last episode? If you haven't listened to that interview, feel free to pause this now, go back and listen to that one, and then come back and join us.
Yeah, do it. What a powerful
episode.
I literally stopped producing the episode and just stared at the transcription as it was being read to me. And I was like, just sucked into the story.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Y'all have to listen to it because just this incredible story about like literally having a brain tumor. And then she did all these things and she kept looking for it to go away. And I'm a spoiler alert, it's not gone. So she's still rocking her life and doing her things. And I think it's just such a testament to that we often can take a diagnosis and like make that be our life instead of like having our life with that. Like
we were just talking about that.
It's like
we were just talking about that with Claire Sparrow.
Yeah.
Where women have defined themselves, like the clients that she's had, they've defined themselves by the punch bowl.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So the pelvic floor health.
Pelvic
stuff,
floor.
yeah.
I was like, it's there, but it's not coming.
Yeah, it's like in Rachel Rogers' book, like you can want to go on a vacation and be broke. Like you don't have to go, I'm broke, so I can't go on a vacation. You can actually have a desire and have something, an existence. You can also be an incredible human being like Johanna is, and like literally slaying it when it comes to like luxury branding. And she's got this tumor in her brain, but she's not letting that stop her from living her life. And she stays so positive and it doesn't bother her anymore.
Well, before we get into it.
Okay. So let's just get real.
Let's get a couple of announcements going.
We got a couple things that are super tight on this. If you were listening in real time, agency mini number 8 is starting in 10 days. So you'll hear the ad, listen to the ad, go sign up, but seriously sign up, because if you have not done agency mini or you've only done it one time, you can do it a second time. But it is a truly powerful week. And as soon as you join, the sooner you get to be in the group and start preparing for the homework. So while it's a week-long program, we let you be in there a little earlier, getting yourself situated and set up. We're so excited about it. If you're wondering, I'll do the next one, I really stop doing that to yourself and your goals and your dreams and your business, because the next one's not till the fall. And at this time of recording, I haven't set the dates yet. I'm going to do that, but it's in the fall. Next thing, it's almost my birthday. And I'm really excited about that, because age is just a number. And I have some shirts that I've been so thrilled to wear, where it's like a tough old bird. And it took me 40 years to look this good. Thank you, the bee and the fox. And I have the owner coming on to the show. She's like, yeah, I'll do it. What do you want me to talk about? I'm like, everything that you do that I'm in love with. That's what I want. So anyways, it's almost my birthday. All right. I want to get into Johanna, but we have an audience question, right, Brad?
Yeah. So what are you doing for your birthday?
Okay. So here's the reality. We are recording this before Christmas, and my assistant is actually helping me plan my birthday. But here's what I do know. I do know we're having a fabulous little birthday sale over on the OPC site. There'll be ads around that as soon as that's ready. I also do know that sometime in March, we're going to Mexico. I think it's in March. So that's really fun. And I'm super excited about that. And I am going to just tell my friends, hey, I'm going to be here if you want to come. No pressure, but like, I'm going to be in Mexico if you want to come. And then as far as like what I'm actually doing in Vegas for my birthday. Well, one, shout out to Carrie Pagesh. She is actually celebrating her birthday in Vegas. And so we're going to actually, you and I and her husband, we're all going to get together May 1st at the club.
News to me, guys.
Yeah, we got
That's
May 1st,
exciting.
and we got like an 8:30 reservation, as we were told by the girls there last time we were there, because we got kicked out of our table because you can only be there for 2 hours, and we were there for 2 hours and 15 minutes. We had to do, what do you call those trains? Choo choo. We had to do the
Conga line.
the conga line. We had to do that, and then they were like, "You all have to go." Anyways, that's fine. We talked to I said, I want to see the dancers.
I think I was pretty good at that conga line. So
We
it
did
definitely
great.
it wasn't because of that.
No, we were amazing at it. I think they realized, oh, that's the table of 9. Don't let them sit back down. They're supposed to leave now.
Yeah.
So anyways, we said, well, we want to see the dancers. And so they actually had the dancers meet us at the exit so we could take pictures, which I thought was amazing. Shout out to my mom for telling me just ask for what you want at these things. That's a long story about a concert that I got into the pit for. But at any rate, we found out from them that you should 100% come after 8:00 at night. And so even though I don't eat it like Spain time, we're going to eat at Spain time so we can get to the best part of that show. So I'm definitely doing that. Thank you, Carrie, for coming out. And then actually celebrating, actually doing it with my family and friends. I'm still planning that. And I have a meeting with my amazing assistant this week because she actually has itineraries for Vegas for when people come to visit. And I'm going to pick from her itineraries.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. I've been working on it. So anyways, I'm so sorry. You'll have to find out.
We'll keep
later on. We'll keep you posted when I'm doing my birthday, but I am turning 40 and I'm so excited about it. Yes, you can sing happy birthday to me all month long. It's fine up until Valentine's Day.
All right. Now let's talk about Johanna White. Johanna is a woman who defied the odds, changed her mindset, and overcame a brain tumor, all while building her Epic branded company. Yeah. She helps individuals, startups, and Fortune 200 brands attract their dream clients and opportunities to finally be what she calls as delightfully expensive as they deserve.
I love that. I love that so much. Yeah. Okay. Let's just jump into it because we already started. One thing I loved is that she actually talked about a brain tumor survivor story. So
her tumor survivor story.
Her brain tumor survivor story. And so, and these are some questions, these are some points that she made. So how do you drown out the fear? That's so hard to do, but that is like the thing. And also, by the way, that stuff is living rent free in your brain. So unless you're gonna start charging it money every time, you have to charge self money.
Tell me how we can do that. I'd like to make a profit.
Yeah. So you'll be paying yourself.
Since you can't.
Yeah. Since you can't.
You should just kick them out. You need to evict them.
What if you had a fear bucket where you had to like put, you know how people have a jar where they have to put the money if they say a cuss word? Obviously, this household, we don't even have quarters, so we don't have pennies. But what if you had to like,
that's interesting.
And then what if you had to donate it to a charity that you didn't like?
Right, because it's not yours. You don't get to keep it.
Yeah. There's a thing. There's actually apps for that. Like if you like say you're going to quit smoking and then you don't, like it's going to donate money to like a political cause you don't want.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't actually work like that. Doesn't work for me. But anyways, because I would be like, get in there before that thing goes off. Focus on the fear.
Focusing
on the fear holds back progress. Yeah. This is so true. You cannot move forward if you're thinking about what could happen. And if you need help on that, go back to Chris Goodman's podcast about fear. Choose joy in the moment.
I have comments, so I'm just going to jump in. So yeah, when you focus on the fear, it actually paralyzes you. So there's not a chance to even think about the mindset of the future. Basically, you're stuck. You are, and I know this all too well. Literally, I have fear can be so paralyzing. I have experienced this myself. So when you're 100% consumed by it, there's not a chance you can think clearly and make decisions that are clear. None of that stuff.
Yeah. So, all true things, all true. And also we have an episode of an interview coming out that I just did today in the real time of recording this, but you won't hear it until February. Joe Cascini, he is a psychologist who works with older adults, and he's got the Living to 100 Club. And he talks a lot about, of how fear holds us back. And then also going into my choose joy. He literally tells a story about how like, you can be in the same room and like someone can see what's wrong with it and someone can see what's right with it. So it's so possible to choose joy in the moment. So just you might have to like, actually retrain your brain and how it functions. And that's really hard to do. It's really hard to retrain your behavior and how you react to things that cause fear. I know for me, like I can get like, it's not only paralyzing, but I go into a loop and a spiral of all the things that are going wrong. And then all the things that are going to go wrong from that. And it's just like going to keep going. And I have to like find a place to stop it. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to have that same spiral happen. But my hope is that I stop it a little bit sooner each time so that maybe before it gets to like in 17 years, this is the bad stuff that's going to happen. If it gets up at 15 and then 14 and then 12 and 10. And I know that sounds annoying. It could be like a long time, but it's a practice, not perfect. So
yeah, I mean, you already mentioned the next things she said, which is choose joy in the moment and happiness is a choice. And I found that amazing because it wasn't until she personally experienced like her symptoms coming back that she was able to connect the dots. When she was like, you know, woe is me and everything is crashing around me, she was really sick and she went into the doctors and she left, and her parents' friend took her out and said, like, here's all the things that you should be focusing on, not this fear. And she started to focus on that and she started to get better.
Yeah.
And then she went to the doctor and they said, you're not better. You still have this tumor and, you know, bad things. And then she went right back to being negative again. And immediately, that second time around, immediately all of her symptoms came back, which had been dissipating. And she put the dots together and was like, holy cow, this, you know, and you two talked about how powerful the mind is in here. And that to me, it's so, I think that she is a stronger woman than I, because, and Amy Ladine too, because being willing or needing to actually focus on the positive, I have to imagine it comes down to a need. It's like past that.
Well, it's the only way they'll survive.
Yeah.
And like, maybe we all need to think about it like that. Like maybe we all need to realize that all the things that you want to have are on the other side of the sphere. And if you really actually truly realize, like you're really honest with yourself, that you have a limited time on this planet, this is a life choice. Like if you need to start focusing on choosing happiness. And like you have, like we have to stop going, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, what was me? Like, yeah, shit sucks. I am not having a good week right now, personally. I'll be real honest, but I'm finding that like, as I'm trying to like just wallow in shit, my inner trained muscle is like, here, oh, this pillow is really nice. And I really like my outfit. And like, all of a sudden I started and I'm like, I just want to wallow. And I cannot, because I've trained you well and I got to get back out there and do it. So
you're talking about the limited time on this planet, you know, I can't necessarily relate to a brain tumor personally. However, I was just home visiting my parents, and it made me realize, like, if I go home on the schedule that we've been going home, which for me is one time a year, and I'm halfway through my life, or maybe not quite, hopefully halfway through, I might only see my parents 40 more times in the rest of my fucking life. That is crazy to think about.
And that's if they live 40 more years. That's possible.
That's true. They might not live 40 more years. That's very true.
If they listen to Joe's podcast about living to 100, it's possible.
So, but that, you know, so like when you're, you know, choosing happiness, choosing like to be intentional about how you live. And for me, that realization was, I want to go home and I want to see my folks and hang with them more. And you know, I don't want to live there, but I do want to see them more. So yeah,
everything's a choice. And if the sooner you start realizing that you have a lot more choice, and I'm not going to give it away, but there's something called embodied consciousness, well, it's going to be on Joe's podcast. Anyways, I was like, I need to find books on this. It is such be it till you see it with science. Anyways, what did you love? That. Yeah. What did you love?
Okay. So specifically, especially in like this really, really challenging experience that, Johanna, has gone through and is still going through. She gave us some pretty straightforward tools, which helps with the mindset, for complete healing. And she said, collect evidence for what works for you and focus on that. And that brings us straight back to Amy Ladine with her she has her daily cards,
daily agreement cards, and she puts the wins every day, and then
she has a wins card.
Yeah.
And when she's in a bad spot, she goes back and pulls out her wins card, and she focuses on that. So, collect the evidence for what works for you and focus on that. She also said, what you believe matters. However, what you do about what you believe matters even more. Okay.
Yeah.
So the action of like taking action on what you believe matters even more than the belief itself. So you definitely have to start with that belief, focusing on, choosing what you're focusing on, but then you take action, right?
Yeah.
And for her, taking action was, she was listening to sermons and reading scripture and focusing on verses that were talking about healing from the Bible. And she started talking about anything that had to do with healing, like focusing on it. And so she would go to sleep with these playing. She would wake up, she would focus on them. She would dwell on the fact that healing can happen, right? So that doing was crucial. And then finally, she said, see yourself where you're going to be. You really, really have to envision it. And she said, if I dwelled on the fact that if things go wrong, I could end up in a wheelchair and not be able to move, then I'm going to end up in a wheelchair and not be able to move. But I love to ride my horse. I love to run, jump, and play. And I need to see myself in that way.
Yeah. Oh, y'all get those tools, write them down. They also are very helpful for beating imposter syndrome, by the way. So they work for both things.
Yeah. All right. So finally, let's talk about those beit action items. So she already gave us a handful of action items in the other conversation, but what bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted action items can we take away from your conversation with Johanna White?
Yeah. So am I going first?
You know what? I'm going to go first because I wanted you to talk about the other one.
Yeah, I'm just going to just say right now, if you're wondering what's going on here, we're sitting next to each other. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see we're sitting next to each other. And so therefore we actually cannot see each other's faces because when you are talking to a camera, you look at the dot, not your picture. So I'm actually not looking at his reaction and whatsoever. So I actually can't tell when he needs to talk or when I need to talk. So we're going to switch this.
Yeah, we're moving things around right now.
We are not going to sit next to each other anymore. I love you.
So she said, make your branding purposeful. We didn't even talk about it, but she runs a branding company and she did some amazing things with her company. She started landing clients that were massive, like Google, all this crazy stuff. And, she literally charges like $50,000 to build a website that includes like going through your branding, doing all of this amazing stuff. And she specifically said, branding is happening all the time, whether you do it on purpose or it's happening by accident.
Same as goals.
Right. So it's happening. It's either happening for you and you're building those perceptions on purpose, or it's happening to you. So don't let it happen by default. Instead, make it happen by design. And I thought that was crazy powerful. Like, when it comes to, just getting the door, like getting started, we always tell people you don't need branding to open the business and get like the ball rolling, but there does come a point where you want to begin to focus on that and get that going, because just like she said, branding will happen by default. You should make it happen by design.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's going because a lot of people, because they're actually afraid to get rejected and putting their stuff out there. So they just noodle around on branding and they're like, look at me, I'm taking so much action because I'm picking my colors and I'm picking my font. And the reality is that like, that's going to all change.
Yeah.
So get something done and then have some consistency. But as you start to interact with people in your business and in your life, you're going to go, oh, wow, the people that I work with really resonate as this kind of person. So these are the fonts or these are the colors. And Hillary Hartling, who is on our pod, she actually said like branding is actually how you make people feel. So like you can go off of that in the beginning and then hire someone like Johanna to make you look as delightfully expensive as you deserve. So, and so I agree, like whether it's your branding or insert goals there, if you actually don't set goals for yourself, other people will set them for you. If you don't brand yourself, other people will brand for you.
If you don't host your party, someone else will host it for you.
Yes, I need to get that guest. I need that author. We have to put her on the list. It's called The Art of Gathering. And I know you're hearing this after Christmas and you're like, thanks, Lesley, for not telling me this earlier. Such a fucking great book. Something. Anyways, it is something that I think about in all of my memberships and how I do everything, but it's also how you do dinner parties. Like, she just got great advice on there. So anyways, just like that.
Yeah.
Someone else will do it for you.
Okay. Your turn. Take it away.
Okay. Of course I love this one. I mean, we knew I was claiming this one the moment she said it. Buy the shoes. Buy the shoes for the next you, and then wear them. And so this is really important, because I would see women, I used to work in retail, and I'd see women buy these things for this future person they wanted to be. And then they put it on a shelf. Just put it on a shelf.
Right.
As if your future you could just jump off the shelf one day. It's not Tinkerbell, y'all. You will actually act as if you are the person who wears those shoes if you put them on. So I 1000% bought the purse that I felt was too expensive for me. I 1000% bought the Lululemons and the things like that to be seen as the person that the teacher I wanted to be, the teacher who made this kind of money. Also, I'm not saying charge up your credit cards. I had a capsule wardrobe. I recycled that, but don't buy the thing and then put it on the shelf to look at. Alan Stein Jr. is like, we're never finished. We are not meant to be in a museum. You put that stuff on a shelf, you're putting your future you in like a museum thing, and that's not going to work for you.
Yeah. So I love this, because she had, when the brain tumor situation happened, it made her reevaluate everything in her life. And she said, you know what, I don't want to wait. I'm not going to put that stuff on the shelf. I'm going to wear it. I'm going to use it. In fact, she said she took 3 months off from trying to get clients and doing anything. And she treated herself like her own client. As she said, so she went out and bought a bracelet, went out and bought shoes, went out and bought a purse. She did her nails. She went and did this epic photo shoot where she literally dripped her business card in gold. And then like they flung gold all over the photo shoot studio. And she decided to build her site as if she was building one for her client, right? And then present herself to people in the way that her clients are, so she could basically put herself in the caliber of the clients that she wanted to attract. And they would see her and go, oh, you get me. You get me.
She's not that Google guy.
That's what I'm saying. No, it's amazing. The story she had was, she was at a coffee shop very shortly after the photo shoot. She had her card, and he came up and asked her like, hey, can I borrow your laptop charger? Mine's going to die. She said, sure. 30 minutes later, he comes back and he says, hey, what do you do? And she gave her card to him. He looked at it and he ran over his computer, typed the stuff in, literally came running back. And he said, I love what you do. You need to come work for me. I need you to work on this project. What you're doing is amazing. And it was a guy who works for Google.
Yeah. Yeah. So, buy the shoes, put them on, be that person. Like, these are things that some of us have, like, some people can do it in the mind. Some people need a more physical, kinesthetic way of being it till they see it. And it doesn't matter which one you are. And it's really going to be an amazing year for you the more you do this. Thank you, Johanna White, for like sharing your story with us and like truly inspiring our listeners. I was inspired. I took my favorite shoes to the shoe repair to get them sold, because I was like, I bought the shoes and I'm not wearing them because they need to be resold. So we got to go do that right now so I can have them for my trip, so I can be that person on my tour who wears those shoes.
I know. Yeah. I mean, and I'm pretty shit at this. I'm like not good at buying like the fancy thing. I
buy them for you.
I never have allowed myself to ever do that. So this is a challenge. She's
going to want to know if you did it.
Well, I don't even know what I want to buy. So I'm going to figure that out first, and then I'm going to go buy something. So
if you're in the same position as Brad, you actually owe it to yourself to spend a lot of time with yourself thinking about that, because that's actually a sign that we have to we've maybe achieved all the goals, and now you've got to set new ones. Yeah.
I'm in.
I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you going to use these tips in your life? Let us know. Send us a DM to the pod, tag Johanna White, tag us, and share it with us. And if you're like, I have no idea how to tag, that's fine. You can literally grab your friend's phone and you can find our show on the podcast app that they use, and you can download it for them. And you can say, here, I would love to know your takeaways, because that would help with my love language of words of affirmation, but it's fine. However you get this into people's ears is all that matters to us.
If you want to contact us, you can hit us up on Instagram, just send us a DM, or you can email us at beit@bloompods.com. bloompods.net.
Yeah. Notice that at email, that is the correct one.
beit@bloompods.net.
If you send one to the other ones that I've mentioned, they're not true. Anyways, perfect is boring. Love you all so much. See you later.
Bye for now.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day.
Be It Till You See It is a production of As the Crows Fly Media.
It's written, produced, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell. Our associate producer is Amanda Fraterelli.
Kevin Perez at Desenio handles all of our audio editing.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to our designer Jairo Mandal for creating all of our visuals, which you can't see because this is a podcast, and our digital producer Jay Perdoso for editing all the video each week so you can.
And to Angelina Herrico for transcribing each of our episodes so you can find them on our website. And finally, to Meredith Crowell for keeping us all on point and on time.